What's good, everybody? It's your boy Grandma Goose. You already know, get rich and move on. Listen, right? I want to just bring this information to y'all, man. Educational purposes only. I'm going to show y'all a news clip from a very disturbing story, and then we're going to talk about this real quick. You heard? I'll be right back, y'all.
For action investigation. A 31-year-old woman who admits to having sex with a 13-year-old boy and then becoming pregnant with his child won't face any jail time under a plea deal with prosecutors.
11 Call for Action investigative reporter Matt Kroschel is joining us live tonight. Matt, 31-year-old Andrea Serrano was facing sexual assault charges, but accepted this new plea deal to stay out of prison.
Adam, Serrano gave birth to a baby boy. She admitted to having sex with that 13-year-old. The victim's mother, who we're not going to identify in this story, tells us she is not happy with this deal offered to a woman she says ruined her son's life.
I feel like my son's robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He's a victim, and he's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life.
This mother says watching her son struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart.
What has this been like for your son?
It's caused him a lot of depression. He's shut down a lot.
Now she questions why this woman won't face prison time.
I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different. They would be seeking incarceration. And I feel like because she's a woman, they're not. They're having compassion for her because she was pregnant. But I don't think they take into play, again, she was pregnant by a child. You know, that child was created from a sexual abuse.
Under terms of the plea deal the suspect signed off on, she'll be required to register as a sex offender, and the judge could sentence her to 10 years to life of sex offender intensive supervised probation. But Serrano will avoid any jail time since the DA's office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time.
What should other parents be looking for?
Don't trust anybody, honestly. I mean, you can't trust anybody now.
The victim's family says they are looking for the next steps in this case, and they'll actually ask the courts to give custody to the 13-year-old of this baby. Adam and Lindsay, what we do know is that Serrano has a hearing coming up in May where she will learn how much probation time she'll have. Currently, Serrano has full custody of the baby. Back to you.
Okay. Well,
Right, so let's just talk about it real quick. I ain't even gonna keep y'all too long, man. Let's just break down all of the nuances of this bullshit and the double standard that America has for women versus men, right? If this was a man that committed that same crime, he'd be thrown under the jail. There wouldn't be no chance of probation, wouldn't have been no lesser charge, it wouldn't have been no explanation for why somebody 31 years old was involved sexually with a 13-year-old on any way, shape, or form would that have been accepted, right? How is it that this woman only is receiving probation? I think that's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay. This is something that's not talked about as much in America because it's only frowned upon when men do it, which I don't understand. It's all right, so I'm not saying like children-wise. Obviously, it's fucking weird and creepy and wrong and disgusting and everything you could think of when somebody that's in their 30s is dealing with a teenager, period, point blank, right? I'm talking about the dynamic of when men be dealing with younger women. So let's say if a guy's like 40 and he's dealing with like a 23-year-old. Like, that gets frowned upon in our community. They think that men are being creeps or men are being predators or men are dealing with younger women so that they could take advantage of them. When it's not really any of those things, it's mostly because it's tied to a fertility thing where men want to, like, date with younger women so that they could, for legacy purposes, if you're going to make a child with somebody, you want them to be at their healthiest, at their youngest, at their most vibrant. I get all of that kind of stuff, right? That's why men date younger women, but not kids. So I don't get why. Now flip that, because Kevin Samuels talked about this in a couple of his videos as far as when women get older and they get to a certain point and they can't get the men that they want, they start to take advantage of younger men. It never gets talked about. But you could go up and down the celebrity community, man. I could point out multiple examples of older women in their 40s, 50s, some even in their 60s. With Madonna, I just recently seen she's dating a 29-year-old boxer, a black dude too. But I ain't gonna get into that. But so come on now, like this notion that women, like that men are only predators, that women can't be predators. Why isn't it frowned upon when older women date younger men, but it is when older men date younger women? I don't understand that dynamic. Kids are kids, bro. Like the fact that this woman, 31, and oh, we forgetting the fact that she's a teacher too. Like I think that's the most important. My bad, my phone died. But back to what I was saying. She's a teacher, right? You would think that the one place that you could, well, I don't actually think this because I have my own theories about schools, but we'll get into that in another time. But you would think that the one place that you could send your kids where they could actually be safe and that the people that you're sending them to care about them is the school. But it gets deep with the indoctrination and it gets deep with the agendas that's being pushed in our communities, in the world, in America, period, where they kind of blurring the lines between what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. They're blurring the lines. When they started teaching this gender neutral stuff in school, and when they started trying to make everybody say like, oh, you don't have a gender, because they doing that to basically get rid of the age thing. I'm telling you, bro, these people are weird and nasty and creepy, and they thinking about hurting children. And it starts in the schools, y'all. I'm trying to say, like, I know we don't want to, like, think about it in those terms, but, bro, it starts in the schools, bro. They indoctrinate our children. They don't teach them. I seen a quote by somebody smart that said, if you don't teach your kids, they're going to school to be indoctrinated. They're not going to school to be educated. If you teach them at home, if you educate them, then they can go to school and learn what they need to learn. If you don't, they're going to go to school and be indoctrinated by ideologies of an agenda that's being pushed for a long time ago. The educational system hasn't been revamped since the 1900s, and everybody knows that it was made by the Rockefellers in order to get people ready for the Industrial Revolution, bro, which had people working in factories and stuff like that. We're way past that. The education system in itself is that's another whole nother episode, a whole nother video. But anyway, the double standard in America is crazy. The fact that that women are held to the same standard as men is crazy. The fact that they don't see women as predators when it's a lot of older women dating younger men is crazy. The fact that, oh man, it get deep, y'all. It gets so deep. It gets so deep. I just hope that the kid, the 13-year-old, is able to process this mentally and able to deal with it and able to hopefully be a good father to this child moving forward because the mom wants him to be a dad. The woman who did it shouldn't have custody of the kid, right? Should she? Like, I don't know. It's tough, bro. It's tough. Should she have went to jail? I'm not a person that advocates jail for anybody, but I mean, if, like I said, if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was the other way around, a 31-year-old male teacher with a 13-year-old girl student, it wouldn't even be a discussion. So, y'all think about that. Just something I want to bring to your attention. I got another video I'm gonna drop too about something I seen on one of these podcasts where these women are having these conversations about black men, but oh man, that one is deep too. I'm dropping it right after this one, so stay tuned. It's Grandma Goose, new to my channel. Y'all know what to do. I'm out of here.